Hello and welcome. Have you ever looked at a stack of academic articles or textbooks and just felt completely buried? Well, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're going to build your ultimate reader's toolkit.
You know that feeling, right? The reading list for your next class or a big project just keeps getting longer and longer. It can honestly feel like you're drowning, just trying to keep your head above water. It's so overwhelming.
But here's the thing. What if the solution isn't about trying to read at superhuman speed? What if it's actually about having the right tools for the right job? Think about it. A mechanic doesn't use a hammer for every single task, and a smart reader shouldn't use the same approach for every text.
So, in this explainer, we are going to break down 4 really powerful and distinct strategies. These are going to form the core of your brand new academic reading toolkit, and each one is designed for a very specific purpose.
Okay, first up in our toolkit is what we're calling selective reading. I like to think of this one as the magnifying glass. It's your precision instrument, perfect for zeroing in on exactly what you need and nothing else. Selective reading is basically your go-to strategy when you're on a mission. You've got a specific question you need to answer or a single piece of data you have to find, and you just don't have time to read every single word. It's all about efficiency.
So, how do you actually do it? Well, there are 3 key techniques. You can scan, which is where you let your eyes just fly across the page looking for keywords. You can skim, just grabbing the main ideas from headings and maybe the first and last sentences of paragraphs. And you have to use the built-in guides, I'm telling you. The abstract, the index, the table of contents, they're your best friends here.
All right, tool number 2 is interactive reading. Let's call this one the dialogue bubble. This is a real game changer because it turns reading from a one-way street where the author just talks at you into an actual dynamic conversation.
The key word here is dialogic. You're not just a passive sponge soaking up information. No, you're actively engaging with the ideas, you're questioning the author's assumptions, and you're making the material your own. This is where that deep, real understanding actually happens.
To make your reading interactive, you've got to grab a pen. Underline things, write your own thoughts in the margins, get messy with it, and constantly challenge the text. Ask questions like, why are they saying this? How does this work? And the big one, okay, where's the evidence? And pro tip, try to summarize complicated sections in your own words. If you can explain it simply, you've nailed it. Now for our third tool, extensive reading. I call this one the wide-angle lens. This is what you use when you need to step back and see the big picture, not get bogged down in every tiny detail. So unlike the other tools, extensive reading is all about breadth, not depth. The whole point is to read a lot of material, to get a general feel for a topic, to understand the major trends, and to build up your background knowledge. It's kind of like learning the language of your field so you can speak it fluently. The main technique here is just sustained reading. Keep going. Don't stop to look up every word you don't know or analyze every sentence. Trust yourself to guess the meaning from the context. And this is why reading a whole variety of sources is so important. It exposes you to different styles and viewpoints, and it builds a much richer, more complete picture in your mind. And finally, we've got our most advanced tool. This is perspective reading, or the pair of scales. This is where you really level up, moving from being just a student to being a true scholar, critically weighing everything you read. Perspective reading isn't just about what the text says. It's about understanding where it stands in the bigger academic conversation. It means you start to see an author's potential biases, you evaluate their arguments, and you place their work in the right historical or cultural context. So how do you pull this off? Well, you read comparatively. You're always asking, how does this argument stack up against that other one I read? You analyze the context. Was this written during a recession or right after a major discovery? And most importantly, you become a judge. You assess the strength and the logic of the evidence that's being presented. Okay, so we've got our toolkit. It's full of 4 awesome, powerful tools. But the million-dollar question is still there, right? How do you know which tool to pull out for which job? Well, let's make it super practical. Let's say you're cramming for an exam and you need to find specific definitions fast. That's when you grab your magnifying glass for some selective reading. But what if you need to deeply understand and critique a really important journal article? That's when you have a conversation with it. Time for interactive reading. Just starting out on a new topic and need to get the lay of the land? That's a job for the wide-angle lens of extensive reading. And when you're writing that huge literature review, you'll absolutely need your scales for perspective reading to weigh all your sources against each other. So, if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Being a great reader isn't some magic talent you're either born with or not. Not at all. It's a skill. It's a set of tools that literally anyone can learn, practice, and get really, really good at. So I'll just leave you with this thought. Now you have the toolkit. You're equipped. So you get to decide. Which tool are you going to pick up first? How are you going to tackle that next reading assignment differently? What kind of reader are you going to choose to be?